My name is Brian Kalk. At the end of July, I made a trip to the Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where I spent 4 days camping in one of the park's rustic cabins on beautiful Mirror Lake. Join me on the adventure as I explore some of the park's secrets.
So I'm heading down this trail to an abandoned mine and mining town.
Take in the jaw-dropping sights, eat some delicious food, as well as some questionable food.
I don't love this.
And have some amazing animal encounters.
Good morning, guys. It's just after 7 a.m. and I am on the road heading up to Porcupine Mountains State Park in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I wanted to get an early head start because it's a 4.5-hour drive up there. But, of course, even though I'm heading north and slightly west, I'm going to be entering the Eastern time zone. So I'm going to be losing an hour. I'm hoping to get there around 1 o'clock Eastern time. So let me give you a rundown of what we're going to do today. I'm going to drive directly into the park and head to one of the park's showpieces, Lake of the Clouds. We're going to hike a little bit, check the area out, and then this afternoon I'm going to head about 3 or 4 miles east of the park to a tiny little place called Silver City, Michigan, where I'm going to be staying the night at a hotel there before heading into the park again tomorrow and hiking into the cabin where I'll be spending the rest of the trip. So far, it's a beautiful morning. Can't wait. I'll see you there. Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park. The mountain straight ahead, Lake Superior to the right.
I pulled over at the obscure Cloud Peak Trail. This trail climbed to the top of one of the park's escarpments.
This trail, it's almost going vertical.
And once I reached the top, I got a taste of what the park had to offer.
Oh, wow.
Hundreds of feet below me stretched the Upper Carp River, winding its way to the east. And to the west, I could just make out Lake of the Clouds, the Porcupine Mountains' largest lake.
All right, I think I'm gonna head back down to the car
And then we can drive on ahead a little bit to the other end of Lake of the Clouds and hopefully get some good shots before any more of this cloud cover moves in. We've got rain coming tonight.
They got a little toll booth to go to Lake of the Clouds. Hey there. I think I'm good. You are. Got the sticker? All right, thank you.
Lake of the Clouds was packed. It's one of the more accessible sites in the park. You can drive to the top of the escarpment, park your car, and make a quick hike up to the overlook. And it's certainly worth that minimal effort. In the valley below, Lake of the Clouds stretches out for nearly a mile. The lake outflows into the Big Carp River, which empties into Lake Superior about 10 miles west. From this point, there's a trail heading down to the lake itself, where there are a number of dispersed campsites and even a cabin on the lake. About 3.5 miles south, beyond these mountains, lies Mirror Lake and the cabin that I'll be staying at.
Well, Lake of the Clouds was beautiful. So cool to see that. It's about time to check into the hotel, but before that, I'm gonna check out one of the little shops in Silver City, see what they got in there. Bought myself a hoodie. Gotta have a souvenir. Now we're off to the hotel room, just down the street. With an attached restaurant, no less. There.
What's your name?
Yes, sir.
What's the name?
It's Brian Culk. C-A-U-L-K.
Like in Culk again?
It's the one. I used to work in a hardware store, so I would get that every day. Yeah.
Well, try this. My name is Anastasia. A lot of people call me Anesthesia. So I told Anesthesia, not Joelle. You say that to me one more
There
time.
you go. You're getting it. You can hold your own. I like it.
I can't.
22.25, and I paid for a late fee. Oh, look at the towels. All right, let's check out that lake view. Oh. I mean, I can technically see the lake. Also the roof.
So look, I've got a problem. I'm a notorious overpacker for camping trips, and I tried really hard to cut down on stuff for this one. I didn't bring any fresh food with me this time. I usually bring a wheeled cooler that I drag behind me all the way to campsites. I cut that out and just brought freeze-dried stuff. I have a little stove to boil water, and I'm just gonna eat that way, along with snacks, of course. But that's still a lot heavier than I was anticipating. Plus, I've got my giant pack and a major culprit, the camera gear. I was really hoping to only make one trip from the car to the cabin. But I'm thinking it might be two. 2 trips, of course, keep in mind, quickly turns into 3 trips actually. From the car to the cabin, back to the car, back to the cabin again. I'm racking my brain trying to see if I can cut this down, make it 1 trip. That's gonna be brutal though. It's so heavy. I tried so hard. All right, I'm getting pretty hungry. I did a lot of hiking today. So the hotel has an attached restaurant called Paul's Superior Views. So I'm gonna head down there and see what Paul's cooking up tonight. I really hope housekeeping doesn't come into this room while I'm gone. Typically, you only have a camera pointed at a bed in a hotel room when you're doing one thing, and it's not making a vlog on a trip to the Porcupine Mountains. Ugh. There you go.
Are you ready or do you want a few minutes?
I think I'm ready.
Okay.
Could I do the Silver City burger?
Okay, I've got French fries, sweet potato fries, homemade chips, potato salad, coleslaw. I don't think I have baked potatoes tonight.
We're gonna stick with French fries.
Okay. Get a tray, don't back up. Don't back up. Get a tray.
I finished my burger, grabbed a drink at the hotel bar, and headed back to the room. So come on over here, I'll show you everything on the map. So here's the map. Currently, we're just off of the map here in Silver City, Michigan. Earlier today, we took this road. We stopped, I think, here and went down this trail to this scenic overlook where we saw Lake of the Clouds from the east. And then I drove further on, went up here, and then that's when we saw Lake of the Clouds from the west side. Drove all the way back, currently here in the hotel. Now, at some point tomorrow, we need to head to the visitor center and check in with them, let them know we're heading to the cabin and get our backcountry camping permit. Until 3 p.m., we can do anything we want. I thought it might be a cool idea to check out Nonesuch Mine down here. Once it's 3 p.m., we need to take this road, head all the way down here to Summit Peak Road, and I think we can park here, or maybe here. I need to ask them tomorrow. Either way, we're going to be hiking up the South Mirror Lake Trail to Mirror Lake, and we're staying at the 4-bunk cabin. Before it gets too late, let's head outside and check out Lake Superior. The world's largest freshwater lake was a little choppy this night as a weather system was moving in. I spent some time by the lake shore, collecting my thoughts and putting the plan together for the hike in tomorrow. after half an hour of mind-numbing channel surfing on the TV, I finally laid down for bed. Tomorrow, the real adventure would begin.
Good morning, everyone. It's still kind of cloudy and chilly, but fortunately the weather forecast has taken a turn for the better. It doesn't look like rain after all. Well, I'm gonna head downstairs and get some breakfast because I need coffee right now.
After an unsuccessful attempt to track down any milk, I scarfed down some dry Cheerios and rehydrated eggs before checking out of the hotel and heading to the Porcupine Mountains Visitor Center. It was a chilly 63 degrees this morning, so I made the dubious decision to wear flannel. The visitor center had all sorts of information about the abundance of copper in the region and the area's wildlife. I was really hoping to see a bear on this trip. From a safe distance, of course. A light-up map showed various features of the park, including the location of the cabins. This is the one I'll be staying at, Mirror Lake 4 Bunk. I bought a hat at the gift shop and checked in at the desk.
Okay, I got all sorts of stuff to look at. Registration for the car, keep it on the dashboard. The camping permit itself to affix to the cabin door. The key for the cabin. And a bunch of rules. Oh, I'm all set now. There's nothing left to do but wait until probably 1:30. I'm gonna head out at 1:30, be there by 3. So now I got about 2 hours to kill, so I'll drive around, check out some of the trails maybe, eat a tuna wrap, and then we'll head to the cabin. All right, guys, there was a brief shower, but I think it's done now. We're going to head south a couple of miles and check out Nonesuch Mine. So I'm heading down this trail to an abandoned mine and mining town called Nonesuch Mine because they found a copper ore here, none such of which had ever been found before. Copper was first discovered here in 1865, and 2 years later, the first mining of it took place. A town was soon built up around the mine, and at one point reached a population of 300 people, and even had a post office. Though copper was found in abundance here, the difficulties stemmed from the crude methods of extracting the unusually fine copper from the surrounding sandstone and shale. The stamp mills would crush the rocks, but a large portion of the ultra-fine copper would fall through the filters and would be lost. And these losses ultimately proved too costly to keep the mine running. The mine and the town were built next to the aptly named Nonesuch Falls, whose water served the people here.
far from the falls, one of the mine's entrances can be found. Nonesuch mine was in operation off and on from 1867 to 1912, passing hands between a number of different owners who thought they had come up with a more clever way of separating the copper. Very little profit was made here. The mine and the town were eventually abandoned, and the buildings serve as a reminder of the region's past. At this point, it was time to make my way to the South Mirror Lake trailhead and begin the hike into the cabin.
Mirror Lake cabin, 3 miles this away. All right, I made it. We are here. I'm gonna sit in the car for just a little bit. Have a quick lunch, jalapeno tuna wrap, and then we're gonna hit the trail. And you know what? I'm gonna do it all in one trip.
Ha ha! Attaboy, you can do this.
Going uphill. I'll tell you what, at this moment, if I encounter a bear, she can eat me. Oh, there's a bench. Some complaining a lot, but it's really not so bad. This is the hardest thing I'll do on this whole trip. Carrying all this gear in with me. No, I'm already about halfway there. So the return back will be even easier because I will have eaten all my food here. I won't have to carry that back. I will have used up all of the power from my power banks, so those should be lighter. Big fan of this blueberry trail mix. Well done, Target. All right, that's enough. Let's get back to it. Just passed 4 tourists from Japan, and they said Mirror Lake is not far.
After nearly 2 hours of rigorous uphill hiking, the end was in sight.
Is that it? That's it. Oh. Oh, feels good to get that pack off. Well, there she is. Let's check out the lake.
Mirror Lake is the highest lake in the Porkies, sitting at 1,532 feet above sea level.
My little boat landing.
Trout can be caught in abundance here, and each of the 3 cabins on the lake comes with its own boat that you can take out. The boat at my cabin was meant to hold 4 people, and it was ultimately a bit too heavy for me to handle by myself. I didn't bring any fishing gear anyway. I was already carrying too much.
All right, let's go check out the cabin now. Bald eagle.
I get easily distracted by animals.
All right. Wow. It's an old wood stove because you can come out here in the winter. Plenty of cabinet space. A table. Little log book. Welcome to Mirror Lake 4-bunk cabin. Please use the toilet located between the Mirror Lake 4-bunk and the Mirror Lake 8-bunk cabins. This new moldering toilet is designed for use by all cabin users, and when used properly will have less impact on this unique wilderness area. And the beds, 4 in total. I can take my pick. I think I'm going on a top bunk. Very cool. I'm gonna start bringing my stuff in. Okay, let's go see if we can find this weird toilet. Then I gotta start filtering some water. And here it is. It's not far at all. Alright, I need to filter some water. I heard some commotion happening just outside of the cabin door. This is Sam.
Sam was an ever-present figure on this trip, serving as both a companion and a headache. Sam was just inside the cabin. Hey, Sam. Despite all of the warnings against feeding the local wildlife, people clearly had been, and Sam wasn't afraid of people in the slightest. No matter where I went, Sam was sure to be close behind, and he quickly became a good friend. I love this little guy. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Brian, knock it off. There must be 50,000 chipmunks within a square mile of you. There's no way this is all the same one. Yeah, I know. But, get this, they were all named Sam. Crazy, huh? Sam, you got problems. I spent some of the afternoon resting by the lakeshore and quickly saw one of the lake's residents. A bald eagle perched high up in a tree surveying her domain. This was one of a pair of eagles that lived around the lake, and I saw them quite a bit. I never got to watch them hunting or scavenging, but I'm sure they were getting their fair share of trout from the lake. After hearing her mate's call, it was time for her to go. I collected some firewood, and it's almost 7 o'clock. I'm getting hungry. Tonight on the menu, we've got chicken teriyaki. Smells delicious. Get every last little bit. None for Sam. As the evening grew cooler, I decided to start a fire and grabbed a hoodie. And then it was time for some dessert. I mean, what's a camping trip without s'mores? Sam was certainly familiar with them. How's it going, Sam? They're so good. As the evening progressed, the clouds cleared, and across the lake I could see other campers and their dispersed campsites. It looks like a good time. As the sun continued to set, I met some of the other locals. A pair of trumpeter swans. I saw these two quite a bit on my trip. They must have claimed Mirror Lake as their territory. The evening grew darker and cooler, and I decided it was time to head inside to the cabin. But something was missing here. There we go, that's better. I grabbed a late night snack and crawled into my sleeping bag. I was exhausted and was looking forward to a good night's sleep. So, last night was kind of rough. I laid down for bed around 11, and the cabin is dead quiet, as you might imagine. You don't get that constant low hum of utilities working or traffic driving by. And since it's in a cabin, you don't even hear the outside world. There's no bugs, there's no wind. It's just the sound of your own breathing. And I don't sleep well in complete silence. I finally got to sleep, and not half an hour later, I heard a scurrying sound. And I thought maybe it's an animal on the roof, running around on the roof. But it happened again and again. And I knew it was inside the cabin.
So I grabbed my headlamp and turned it on and instantly saw a mouse running around the cabin. Which now explains the 3 mouse traps that I saw when I first got here. They were all set, none of them were sprung, and none of them had bait in it. It also explains the little pouch of Skippy peanut butter that I found in one of the cabinets. So I got up and I set the traps with the peanut butter. I don't like to kill anything. It's truly a last resort for me. I'm one of those people that doesn't even kill spiders. I try to catch them and put them outside. But this is a unique situation. I didn't want a mouse running around with me in a 20 by 20 foot cabin while I'm trying to sleep. So I set it, and the mouse immediately went to the peanut butter. But he was so skilled at getting the peanut butter that he didn't even spring the trap. I have a lot of respect for that mouse. A lot. So I grabbed the broom that's in the cabin, opened the door, propped it open, and shooed it outside. It went outside. And as far as I know, that's the end of that. All of the traps are still set with peanut butter in the cabin. Needless to say, I zipped my sleeping bag up all the way. And so I slept in a bit this morning because I was dead tired. I slept till about 9 o'clock. Should probably make breakfast shortly. But first, coffee. Having a breakfast skillet this morning. Eggs, potatoes, sausage, onions, and peppers. I swear I put in the right amount of water. It's like breakfast soup. It's good though. Wait. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. I brought tortillas. I can have a breakfast wrap. And some freeze-dried strawberries and bananas for dessert. I haven't seen Sam this morning. So I'm gonna hike a little bit down the Government Peak Trail today, and I'm going to take my telephoto lens with me, see if I can get some good animal photos. Got my GoPro strapped on, so I'll take you along for the ride. Whoops. Hey there.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
It's been pretty quiet out here. I haven't seen much. This is probably the worst time of the day to come out here too. It's like 1 p.m. All the animals are taking their naps. Couple photos in there. I have a quick snack and then head back. Okay, back to the cabin. Tons of mushrooms out here. I just hope you don't run into someone going the other way when you're here. Otherwise, you gotta turn around. back to the cabin.
After the photography hike, I went down to the lake to see what was going on. Under the water's surface, I could spot small fish swimming all over. Now, I haven't been brushing up on my baby fish identification lately, but I do know that Mirror Lake primarily has splake and brook trout. Park's rangers had left a book in the cabin, so I took it down to the water's edge and relaxed for a while.
So the book I'm reading is called Porcupine Mountains Companion. And it has a page about our cabin in it. Mirror Lake 4. The 4-bunk is a typical park cabin, except that it is made of logs. It too was built during the summer of 1947. During the winter of 1990 to 91, the cabin got a facelift. The floor was entirely replaced, a new counter and cupboards were installed, and a coat of varnish gave everything inside a nice shine. The door was also replaced. The 4-bunk is situated with a fine view of the lake. A rowboat is included, and you have your own mountain to explore just out back.
I grabbed the logbook from the cabin and paged through that as well. The book was filled with entries and drawings from past visitors. Once the book is filled, it's retrieved by the rangers and kept in the park's archives where it can be seen by future generations, and a new book is replaced in the cabins.
The first entry in here is from September 14th, 2018.
There were entries from people of all ages. I left an entry as well. Maybe someday you'll visit the Mirror Lake 4-bunk cabin and read it yourself.
Someone in here from my town.
Across the lake, a red-shouldered hawk preened itself in the afternoon sun. One of the eagles dropped by the lake to grab a drink. And was soon joined by the pair of swans to make sure he wasn't up to any funny business. I sat there for a while watching the birds and started to realize that I hadn't eaten in a while, and I certainly wasn't hungry. In fact, I wasn't feeling quite right at all. Did I catch an illness from someone at the hotel? Did my water filter break? I was afraid I was coming down with something, and the thought of doing the 3-mile hike out with all of my gear while sick made me nervous. Oh, hold that thought. I told you I get distracted by animals. I finally got to see one of the loons I'd been hearing as one of the other campers passed by in their canoe. Off in the distance, I saw an observation tower on top of Summit Peak, the park's highest point. What was I talking? Oh, yeah, right. I thought I was getting sick. I'm super tired tonight. I didn't even eat dinner. I'm just gonna go to bed early, I think. And I feared that this sickness might cut my trip short. Nope, never mind. False alarm. Good morning, everyone. So I wasn't feeling great last night. I went to bed at like 9 p.m., which would be 8 p.m. Central Time where I'm from. I was hoping I wasn't coming down with something, but after a good 9 hours of sleep and a cup of coffee this morning, I'm feeling pretty good. I think I may have just pushed myself a little too hard between the 3-mile hike in with all that gear and the 4-mile hike yesterday looking for animals to photograph. But I'm recovered now. And I'm hungry, so it's time for breakfast. Today's a simple one. Granola with milk and blueberries. It smells really good. I'm excited about this one. That's fantastic. That's so much better than it should be. It's sweet. The granola is crunchy. The blueberries are soft. Oh, I needed this after yesterday. Seriously, I think this was my favorite thing that I ate on the whole trip. I decided to take an early morning stroll in the woods surrounding the cabin. So the area around Mirror Lake is a mixture of hemlock and old-growth forest. I grabbed my book and spent the rest of the morning reading down by the lake. Other campers were busy going about their morning chores. As the morning continued on, I read with my camera on a tripod close by, ready for any event that might take place. And it didn't take long before some action began. A trumpeter swan swam right past me. This individual was all alone, leading me to wonder if it was separate from the pair I'd been seeing around the lake. The trumpeter swan is the largest waterfowl in North America and can have a wingspan of 10 feet. They're also among the heaviest flying birds in the world, with some larger males weighing over 30 pounds. In the distance, I could hear the honking calls of another swan echoing across the lake. As the calls came closer, the swan became increasingly agitated, until... the male from the lake's pair arrived and drove the trespasser out of his territory in a lightning-fast display of power. The victor surveyed the lake, making sure the coast was clear. He eventually flew off to rejoin his mate as they celebrated their victory together. These two spent the rest of the morning bonding and feeding in the grasses growing around the lake. Before I knew it, it was 1 p.m. and I was getting hungry again. Time to grab some lunch. Alright, it's lunchtime. You've seen my love of s'mores firsthand, but now I have something a little different. Something that only the deranged minds at Cup Noodle could come up with. I give you Campfire S'mores Ramen. This just came out a couple of weeks ago, so I figured I had to give it a shot. Some of the ingredients in here seem like things you might find in a typical s'more, such as cocoa, brown sugar, honey, which I'm definitely going to have to try on my s'mores at some point. But then there are some questionable ingredients, things that I would never expect to find on a s'more. Ingredients such as garlic powder, onion powder, pork gelatin,
So they only have microwave instructions on here, and my microwave's broken. So I'm gonna boil some water and do it the old-fashioned way. Be right back. Green tea and campfire s'mores ramen. Traditional Japanese lunch. Oh my god, it's got marshmallows in it. Let's try that. The smell of the cooking ramen gained the attention of some of the local wildlife. Especially Sam. Hey, Sam. Alright, let's check it out. Not yet. I didn't even get dressed today. I'm too cozy. It's perfect hoodie weather for July. Sam, sit down. Let's try this again. Looks alright. For the record, I am kind of scared about this. Campfire s'mores ramen. It's very chocolatey. It's chocolate flavored ramen noodles. And not much else. I don't taste graham crackers, I don't taste marshmallows, I don't taste pork gelatin. Chocolate ramen. Even the water looks like chocolate milk. Alright. Movement in the bushes in front of the cabin gained my attention. A female ruby-throated hummingbird, whose throats are confusingly white, grazed on the flowers in front of the cabin's door. I was lucky to get any shots of this little bird. She was so fast. Sam showed up to see if there was any leftover ramen. There wasn't. But he brought some of his big cousins along too. This is an American red squirrel. Anyone who's set foot in the pine forests of the northern US or Canada is well familiar with these little guys. Their chittering warning call is often the first thing you'll hear upon entering the woods. This foot-long bundle of energy is North America's smallest tree squirrel species, and if they're lucky enough to avoid being eaten by everything in the forest larger than them, can live up to 10 years. They survive by eating most things that they can get their hands on, such as seeds, nuts, berries, leaves, and flowers, but have also been known to eat bird eggs and even baby rabbits. They also feed on a variety of mushrooms, some of which are deadly to humans. Other campers enjoyed the day as I continued reading by the lake. I didn't do a lot this day. Time flew by, and before I knew it, I was getting hungry again. Time for dinner. I told you I didn't do much today, and I meant it. So I headed inside the cabin. Well, it's my final evening here, and I thought what better way to mark the occasion than with a celebratory meal.
like pepperoni pizza. But you might be saying, Brian, who's delivering pizza to the Porcupine Mountains, especially since you don't even have cell service? I'll tell you who. The United States military, that's who. This is a USMRE, or Meal Ready to Eat. They're handed out to active duty service members on combat missions and in training scenarios to replenish vital lost calories. They come in a multitude of different menu options like spaghetti, chicken, beef goulash. I have here menu number 23. Pizza slice, pepperoni. Pizza slice, comma, pepperoni. Why do they have the comma there? Why didn't they just word it pepperoni pizza slice? They actually use commas all over the place. Even meal ready to eat is meal, comma, ready to eat, comma, individual. Down here it says warfighter recommended, comma, warfighter tested, comma, warfighter approved. What's with all the commas? Well, I'm certainly not a warfighter, but I'll let you know what I think about this. It's got the Department of Defense emblem on the top and says U.S. government property. Commercial resale is unlawful. Well, I'm excited to check it out. Let's open her up. Okay. So we've got plastic package with everything wrapped up in it. I guess let's tear into it. Right off the bat, we've got a hot beverage bag, MRE heater. Gives you instructions on how to heat up your meal. Flameless ration heater. Got a packet of peanut butter. A spoon, chocolate protein drink powder. I guess you pour your water in here and drink it right out of the bag. Vegetable crackers. An oatmeal cookie. A little packet with a bunch of goodies in it. Here it is. Pepperoni pizza with cheese and sauce. Cardboard sleeve that says cherry blueberry cobbler, which is what is in here. I don't know what the sleeve is for. Oh man, I'm excited. Let's get into this. First, let's check out that little pack. So in the pack we have, I guess, napkins, a little pack of salt, a moist towelette, creamer for coffee or tea, Bill's Brew freeze-dried coffee. Oh, I'm gonna have that in the morning. A packet of sugar.
matches. And some gum. Where do we start? I guess maybe we should start heating up the pizza. Let me read how to do this here. All right, so they give you instructions on how to activate the heater. It tells you to tear the notches at the top, pour in water to this line, which is not a lot, being careful not to overfill. And it tells you to fold the top over, insert it into the cardboard sleeve, and this is my favorite part. Prop it up against a rock or something. So inside, it has this, I assume it's something similar to ice melter. If you pour water into ice melter, the stuff you'd buy at a hardware store, it'll heat up. Basically what's happening is there are little salt crystals mixed in with the magnesium chloride, and when you add water, the salt dissolves, turns into salt water, but the act of dissolving creates a little charge, which kind of generates a little bit of heat. And I'm guessing that's the same principle here. All right. That won't fit in there. Well, it's a super tight fit, but I got everything in. Now to add the water. It's popping, it's making sounds. It's heating up. Ooh. That's really hot. It's working. Okay. Prop it up against a rock or something. While that's heating up, it's supposed to take 10 to 15 minutes. Let's check out our vegetable crackers. Little crummy. The mice will love that tonight. So they're scored. They don't break apart that well. First taste of a US MRE. Yeah. Kind of tastes reminiscent of like a wheat thin mixed with a saltine cracker. And it's still crunchy, which I forgot to mention. Each MRE is dated with a code showing the day that they were manufactured. It uses the Julian calendar, so the date for this specific MRE is 1306, which means the 306th day of 2021. Or it could mean 2011. a year ending in 1. They're supposed to have a 5-year shelf life. They're inspected every 3 years and then discarded after 5, I believe. So this one is almost certainly 2021, right? So the 306th day, which means sometime in November of 2021. That's when all of this food was made and packaged up. So for crackers that are nearly 3 years old, these are pretty good. The peanut butter though kind of puzzles me. I assume it's for the crackers, but on vegetable crackers? Let's try it. Good peanut butter. Check out that spoon. That is a quality spoon. Well, we still got another 10 minutes for the food to heat up, and I'm not opposed to eating dessert first. So let's check out that oatmeal cookie. Wow, it's a good size. It's hard but not stale. This is really tasty for a 2.5-year-old cookie. Hang on. Peanut butter oatmeal cookie? Can't be that bad, right? Pretty good. Maybe that's what the peanut butter's for. They give you a ton of sheets. All right, I'm getting thirsty. Let's check out that chocolate protein drink powder. Add 8 ounces of cold water, about 1/3 of a canteen cup to the fill line. Close zipper, shake to mix about 60 seconds. Consume promptly within 1 hour. Alright. Ugh, yeah, it smells like protein powder. Ugh. Yeah, I do occasionally drink protein after workouts, and it's the same thing. It never mixes right. There's always chunks in here. It's chewy. No matter how much you shake it, you're never gonna get it right. But the taste isn't half bad. I guess it doesn't have to taste amazing. The whole point of these meals is to get nutrition into a person and replenish calories that have been lost. And that is what it's doing. I've never been in the military, so I really don't know what I'm talking about, but I have to imagine this would be a pretty nice meal to have after a long day out in the field. All right, it's been 15 minutes and it sounds like the heater is starting to die down. Oh, it's still warm. It's hot. No, it's not warm, it's hot. That's crazy. Wow. the cobbler. Here's the pizza. Feels hot. Here goes nothing. A nearly 3-year-old slice of pizza out in the middle of the woods. Oh. Huh. I mean, I guess I don't know what I was expecting. It's got the cubed pepperoni like on certain cheaper pizzas. The cheese is not melted in the slightest, but it is very warm. I'm wondering if it's some special kind of cheese that isn't supposed to melt? Some shelf-stable cheese? It smells like what I remember cafeteria pizza smelling like at school. It even kind of feels like it. It's a real soft crust, a thick crust. Look at that. Well, here goes nothing. Hang on. It's so much dough. That's about all I can taste. There's a hint of tomato sauce, but it's mainly just pizza dough. I really don't taste the pepperoni. Well, maybe there's a slight spice to it. You know, I guess if you're in a combat zone, a million miles from home, there's probably some comfort in having a meal like this. It's not gourmet by any stretch of the imagination, but it's technically pizza. It's so chewy. Okay, last but not least, the cherry blueberry cobbler. Oh. Well, we use our spoon. I mean, there's a blueberry. Probably got cherries in there somewhere. They've got the crust, the cobbler part. Doesn't smell horrible. Cherry blueberry cobbler. It's very artificial tasting. It's very chemically. What is that? I know what it tastes like. It tastes like Robitussin, medicine that I took when I was a kid, cherry flavored. I don't love this, but I'm still gonna eat it. So I'll try the Bill's Brew and the creamer tomorrow morning. But, last but not least, the gum. Minty. Like I told you, I predominantly brought freeze-dried meals to cut down on weight. This one was a little heavier because it's not freeze-dried. It's actual ready-to-eat food. So it does have some moisture to it and therefore some weight. But this was fun. I'm glad I brought it. I kind of want to check out some of the other menu options now. Each one has its own little side dishes and accessories, so I want to see what else they have. Like I said, not the greatest food I've ever eaten, but it's a lot of fun. It's like Lunchable for trained killing machines. And me. Alright, I'm gonna head back outside and see what's going on.
I returned to the rigorous, back-breaking task of enjoying the afternoon by the lake. I was sure to keep an eye out for any animals that might pass by. Sam would check in with me every once in a while, and green frogs hopped around in the puddles in front of me. At one point, a young hooded merganser swam past. As the sun began setting, I realized my time in the Porkies was nearing an end. I needed to be up early tomorrow to pack up and make the hike out. I had to check out at the visitor center 20 miles away by noon tomorrow, so I didn't want to stay up too late. But I did want to enjoy one last campfire. The Mirror Lake swans said their goodbyes to me, and I went inside to get ready for bed. I didn't want to leave. So for my final meal here, I'm having biscuits and gravy. I don't particularly like biscuits and gravy, but I haven't had this Mountain House meal, so figured I'd give it a shot. Biscuits and gravy always seems like an old person food to me. It's a usual breakfast. It's something that an old person would have as their usual. Morning, Fran.
Morning, Bob. What you having, the usual? Yeah, give me the usual. And I don't dislike old people. I'm just jealous of them, that's all. I see biscuits. I see gravy.
You know, my hair has never been this long before in my life, and I even brought a brush along on this trip. You'd think I would have used it at some point.
I'm having some freeze-dried pineapple too, because God knows I could use some dietary fiber after the last couple of days. Probably made it a little too thick, but it sure looks like biscuits and gravy. I definitely didn't add enough water. It's a little crunchy, but the taste is right. I don't hate it. I'm not even hungry, but I know I'm gonna need the calories for the hike out of here. It's gonna be a long 3 miles. And that Bill's Brew coffee is pretty good.
I spent a bit more time with Sam. And said goodbye to Mirror Lake. I swept up the cabin to make it clean for the next person and packed my bags. And with that, I was ready to head out. I locked the door and said my goodbye to the cabin. Everything you bring in must be brought out, so now I had a trash bag full of old Mountain House meals and Hershey's wrappers to carry. Goodbye, Mirror Lake 4 bunk. I'll miss you. Goodbye, Sam. 3 miles back to the car. I can tell you this, my legs have not fully recovered yet. I thought the whole hike in was uphill. How can I be going up again on the way back? That biscuits and gravy is not sitting well. Okay, about halfway there. I made it. That was a really good time too. Only took about an hour and 40 minutes. My car's the only one here.
Oh, good to see you, old friend.
I left the parking lot, but I wasn't done with the Porcupine Mountains quite yet. Instead of turning left, I turned right. There was one last thing that I wanted to do. Remember that observation tower that we saw from Mirror Lake? I want to climb to the highest point in the park, the top of Summit Peak. I wanted to see if I could spot our boat on the beach from up in the tower. One more half-mile walk. All uphill. I got the zoom lens with me. Up and up and up. Still going up. I gotta return that cabin key and check out in less than an hour. And there's the tower, the highest point in the park. Summit Peak elevation 1,958 feet. Wow. It can be tricky to use a handheld zoom lens when you're 1,950 feet up in a tower on a windy day with people stomping up the stairs underneath you, so I apologize for the shaky footage. But I did manage to spot the boat and the beach. This truly was an amazing sight and a fitting end to my time in the Porcupine Mountains. I had an incredible 5 days here, and I can't recommend the park enough. No matter what your outdoor interests are, the Porky's has something for you. I dropped the key off at the visitor center and started my long drive south back home. I just barely scratched the surface of what the park has to offer, and I can't wait to come back to see more of the Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park.
Well, I made it back home. I had such a great time. I made a lot of memories out there. And if I forget any of them, I should have a halfway decent video to remind me. I definitely need a shower now, though. Well, I hope you guys had a good time too. Thank you so much for joining me on the adventure. I'll catch you in the next video.